is the foolproof method of how to study and pass all of your exams, coming from a 4.0 GPA nursing student. After years of studying, I feel like I finally cracked the code to the best and most efficient study method to actually retain information in a short amount of time. And guys, this is not to show off. This is literally to tell you, for me, I'm a bad test taker, and if I can pass my exams and get some good scores here and there, you can too, and this is how to do it. So the first thing I do when I start studying is either if I know the topic or if I don't know the topic, it always starts out the same, and I'll always watch a YouTube video first. So we're gonna pretend to learn about the cardiovascular system, which is like your heart. So we're gonna pretend like we're learning about that, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. So I will literally Google cardiovascular system, and then there's like all these other videos that come up. I always try to go to the one that's the most graphic because I'm a visual learner, and 9 times out of 10, I don't understand anything from the video. But that's not the point of the video. The point of the video is just to get your mind primed, because next we're gonna be doing the reading and the lectures and stuff. It gives your brain like some type of like visual to attach the words to. It helps me actually understand what I'm reading so much better. So, and I usually don't really take notes during this process. Maybe I'll write down a sentence or two, but not really. Next, for me, I feel like I study mostly off my lectures, not my readings. I will skim my readings, usually not really. So next, I'm gonna pull out my slideshow. Okay, ignore my broken screen. But, I have my lecture and then the material that I take flashcards on side by side. Some people use Quizlet, but I like to use Anki for something I'm going to show you in a second. These are my secret tips. I write everything in the form of a question. So off the slideshow where it says the cardiovascular system and the major function, I put it in the form of a question as a flashcard. So I said, what is the major function of the cardiovascular system? And then I wrote the answer in terms of my own words. I didn't just put major function here. I put, what is the major function of the cardiovascular system? And I asked it in the form of a question. This actually primes my brain to get ready for test mode and to recall the information in a test format. I make all of my notes directly on flashcards. I do not write down on a Google Doc or pen and paper. I write it directly on a flashcard, and I write it down in a question format. And I'll write the answer to the question in my own words. After I go through and make all my flashcards, what I do next is kind of crazy, but stick with me. Also, the reason why I love Anki so much is because they have this feature. It has a flashcard, and at the bottom it says, again, hard, good, easy, and you can customize this. If you don't understand what this is saying, you can have it come up again in less than a minute, or if you kind of understand, not really, you could go hard, and if you completely understand what this is saying, you could go easy. It's kind of like an active recall method. If you guys want a full tutorial on how to make Anki flashcards, let me know. Basically, the active recall method, it's like again and again and again until you understand, and I feel like when I am going through all of these questions, when I see the question, I will obviously try to guess the answer, and I will also be teaching myself it out loud. So I do the teach back method and the recall method. As I'm doing this, I have like my little iPad, and let me show you because I'm just a visual learner, I have to show you. So you can have your iPad, or if you have a whiteboard, you can do this method. I was asking for the major function of the cardiovascular system. I'm going to write down major and then function, and then cardiovascular system. I take all of the keywords and I write it down, and then I write down what my answer is. By writing anything down, you're 2 times more likely to remember it. If I have a whiteboard, then what I'll do is I'll literally spit out everything that I remember, and I'll just do like a brain dump of everything that I remember about the topic and the question and the answer. And then anything I miss, let's say I write that all down in black, then I'll look at the answer, and then anything I miss, I write down in red. And at the end of my study session, I go back and I study the things in red, because those are the things that I'm most weakest at. This is how I actually memorize the material, is I make crazy mnemonics and like crazy memorization games. So for something like this, where it says major function of the cardiovascular system, and then it says like transportation using blood. So to remember this, I would think of a major, so someone like the army, running because they're doing cardio and they're transporting blood. Basically what it looks like a major running like on a car as the main vehicle, and he's holding up blood. So that's how I remember the major function of the cardiovascular system is transporting using blood as the main vehicle. You guys get that? Like, it's kind of crazy, but I kind of make movies and like weird scenarios in my mind with all the keywords. So basically, just a quick overview. First, I'll watch a YouTube video and I'll go through the lectures. Like wherever you feel like your teacher posed the most questions and answers from, I feel like the things that they talk about most in class are most likely to be on the exam. After that, I take all of my notes directly on flashcards. So whether you use Quizlet or whether you use Anki, I love Anki. After that, when I'm going through all of the information, I will literally like spit out and teach it back to myself. And as I'm doing that, I'm writing down all of the keywords on either an iPad or a little whiteboard. And I'll write down everything through that question in like black or blue ink. And after I see the answer, whatever I miss, I'll write it down in a red pen. And at the end of my study session, I'll go back and I'll only study the ones in red because, one, I don't want to waste time on studying things I already know. 2, it's more efficient when you kind of narrow in on what you need to learn. How I actually memorize the material is making like I take the keywords of every subject and I create like a little movie in my mind for it. Guys, I'm editing this video and I literally forgot to mention the most key part. It's practice questions. So after I do all of that for extra practice and actually applying what I learned into a test format, this is especially helpful if you're a bad test taker like me. I'll Google whatever subject I'm learning and at the end I'll put practice questions or practice tests. That just kind of makes sure that I understand and I apply the information that I learn. For the practice test, I'll do the practice questions, I'll do Quizlets, just kind of what I find on Google for extra resources. And sometimes you're lucky, those questions will even show up on your actual test. It was just like a quick overview of how I study. I could definitely do a more in-depth tutorial, but I know everyone has exams coming up, so I literally made this video last minute to try to help you guys. I love you guys and good luck. I'm always here for you guys. Gosh, I feel like I'm like, whatever. My brain is like fried from studying, but you guys got this. I'll be making more tutorials and I'm here for you. Mwah! You guys got this!